and I want to, but I want everyone to be on the same page with it.
I totally agree. Does anyone else disagree?
Can I tell you what I want to tell
With hearing your perspective?
Well, with what you just said.
Mike, could I tell you what
I
I want to
want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
You have leaders than you usually have. Why?
Nick, I don't want you to put my hair in my face, okay? If you want to hold it, that's great, but please don't put it in my face. Thank you.
Well, I don't believe in right or wrong or good or bad. And that automatically makes my perception on everything different than everybody else's. Because I don't see right and wrong or good or bad. All I see is what is. So, what I see, for example, right now is, a child who, spent a long time upset and crying and whatever. And I'm not going to say it's the candy's fault, because it's not the candy's fault, but everything is in alignment. So, I'm not going to be one who's going to be like, oh, candy's the problem. Just like I'm not going to be like, oh, pharmaceuticals are the solution. To me, that's the exact same thing. Because neither of them have any power over an enlightened being. An enlightened being supersedes all form. And all form is just a manifestation of that enlightened being's consciousness. So, I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, and be fully responsible for my body and for my life. And I believe that we all have the ability to, number one, be able to eat anything we want and be healthy, and number two, to also be able to make responsible choices, for every part of our life, which includes everything that we eat. Now, the reality is that, basically everybody on earth is already dysfunctional, including 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old children. And so there's automatically going to be certain things that manifest and play out that, you can look and you can observe and you can be like, okay, well, this obviously isn't ideal. And I'm not going to argue and say that it's not ideal, but what I will say is that it's also necessary. Because when we've been conditioned, when we've been controlled, when we've been suppressed, when we've been told what's right and wrong, when we've been told what's good and bad, we automatically get perverted or, mutated desires, tendencies, addictions, and whatever. And we have to be able to fulfill that. We have to be able to play that out. We have to be able to experience that. We have to be free, and we have to also be responsible. So, there's, for me, if there's an issue with the candy, it's that where is this candy coming from? Like I myself do not support in any way, packaged, processed materials being bought and, just, consumed and thrown away. And so I myself would never be a part of that. And if a child, through their own devices, through their own, capabilities or wisdom or, skills or inspirations is able to find a way to get candy if that's what they want, then that's great. I personally am not going to support the purchase or acquisition of any of it. If I find something in the dumpster and I bring it back and they want to eat it all day long, it's fine with me. I have no problem with that, but if they get sick, I'm not going to feel sorry for them. I'm not going to even take care of them. I'm just going to say, hey, you got to ask yourself, why are you sick? And if a child is acting, irresponsible or, bratty or crabby or cryy or whatever, I'm just going to look at them and I'm going to say, hey, you can do whatever you want. And if this is what you want to do with your life, then that's okay. I'm just not going to be a part of it. I'm not going to participate. If my child starts to get overweight, of course, see, these things aren't going to ever it's hard to see, because my children are, small, but you'll see that the difference of the paradigm of consciousness is just completely different. And all the problems that are common problems that exist in 99% of children won't even exist.
Not even.
And I don't even have to address them because they're not even there to be addressed. And so, a parent's state of mind in relationship to their children is obviously limited, and certain things are manifesting that they see as problems, and they see that their role as a parent is to fix those children's problems and to change that child to be responsible, or to be good, or to be successful, or to be smart, or to be educated, or to be healthy, or to be pretty, or whatever the parent's criteria is. Every parent has a different criteria of what is a good child and what's a bad child. But the reality is that all that manifestation is coming from the preconceived idea that my child is incapable. Otherwise it wouldn't even be manifesting. And that's why, I've never read a single book about parenting, and the two children that come from my bloodline were peeing in the toilet 3 weeks or younger. Because that's just consciousness manifest. Because they're capable, because they're already treated, the space is already being held that they're fully capable. Whereas most parents have children, and the children cry, and the parents think that, oh, my children is damaged and they need me to fix them and take care of them.
They don't.
They don't. That's the parent's perception, which then creates a damaged child that needs to be fixed, that needs rules, that needs limitations, that needs discipline, that needs, bedtimes, that needs to be told what to do and when to do it. The child's irresponsibility is actually a manifestation of the parents.
Robbing it from them.
Right. And that's just, every parent does the best that they can. But, obviously their childhoods were even worse than their children's were, and so they're doing the best that they can, but they're still coming from a highly conditioned and suppressed and limited state of consciousness, and it has to manifest in your own children. And so, I'm a great example because, I had probably the freest childhood of any child I've met, any person I've met, and yet I was abused every single day.
In which way? I'm just curious.
Well, because my parents believed in right and wrong and good and bad, and every day they're giving me feedback and judgment on whether I'm right or whether I'm good or bad, whether I'm right or wrong.
You're still doing it.
Right, they're still doing it, exactly.
They don't get it.
They don't get it. So I'm willing to honor and respect that, yes, I had the freest childhood that I've known, and I'm thankful for that, but at the same time,
It wasn't ideal.
it's not even close to ideal, and I have access to huge upgrades over that. And whether anyone listens to me or not,
It's irrelevant.
it's irrelevant, exactly. I'm going to apply them for myself. I'm going to make them as priority for myself. So I don't believe in rules. And there's no way that I'm going to, especially tell someone what they can do with their own body or with their own life. But I will hold them accountable to being responsible for that. And so, to me, what that means is, not treating them as children, but treating them as capable individuals that are responsible for their actions. And with that responsibility comes the freedom to choose and to experiment and to make mistakes. If
Do you ever
mistakes happen.
challenge a person's awareness?
Every day.
How would we, in the most ideal way, challenge a child's awareness?
Well, number one, we have to realize that children are born pure potential. And the dysfunctions that are manifesting through them are not because they were born that way, but because of the world they're born into.
The limitations imposed on them.
Right. And so my suggestion is that anytime you see the need to challenge a child's awareness, you look at your own responsibility, your role in that. So like for example, with Adrian, you know, she's got these two children, which she had them before she even knew me. And
They've had quite a bit of limit.
right, they've already been severely abused. And therefore they have crystallized energetic consciousness within themselves that has to play out in regards to that.
Yeah.
And so there's no question that from my perspective they're irresponsible. And you know, they're weak. And they're scared. And so, you know, I consciously share that with Adrian. But what I also consciously share is that the only reason they are that way is because of the world they grew up in, which is directly manifest of the world you provided.
Absolutely.
So I'm being real with the fact that yes, they're irresponsible, yes, they're weak, you know, yes, they're scared, but the only reason that's true is because of the world you provided for them. And so if that is going to change, it's going to change because you realize that was you take responsibility for that.
And make the appropriate ideal
Right.
change.
And you right now choose to treat that child as responsible, even if they don't act responsible. I know you're totally responsible. I know that I'm totally responsible for you not being responsible. You know, and let's be here together as responsible as we can, and see what happens.
So the child comes and asks for candy.
Right.
Me and Mike, you know, they're obviously responsible. I'll give them what they want. If they can't reach it, they can't achieve it themselves.
Right.
And that's the
Is there
end.
a business all books out?
Yep, because I forgot to put it in. Oh, wait.
In a way.
Might as well take some more anyway. Okay. I'm in alignment with what to do with the kids. I don't know about y'all.
And that's also personally why I also really believe in the truth of, you know,
He's in
children.
charge of the kids now.
I also really believe in the power of providing children with monetary responsibility. And I've talked about this many times before. You know, if a parent has income and or they spend money on their children, which all parents do, my suggestion is you give them their portion of money to do with what they choose, rather than decide, okay, well, I'm going to buy you this, and then you have to do this with it. You know, it's just a control mechanism. And or I won't buy you this, but I will buy you this. Control mechanism.
Oh, yeah.
So my suggestion is okay, if you're willing to spend, you know, $10 on them a week, that you just give them that $10, and then if they spend it all on candy, and they eat it all in one day, well, all their candy's gone, and now they got to wait 6 days before they get that candy. And what it does is it cultivates personal responsibility, and pretty soon they start to, you know, consider, like Kylie already, you know, I gave her money for her clothes that she traded to the boutique. So I gave her like $35 last time, and you know, she spent it all like by the time I had given it to her. And then this last time I just gave her another like $35 for her clothes, and this time she was like, oh my god, I've got this money, I'm going to save this money in my purse. Because last time she got the money and then it was gone. And so now she's already evolved to where she wants to hold on to it a little bit longer because she wants to be able to have it for when she wants to have it rather than not having it.
Exactly.
And so by me not saying, well, you should do this with your money, or you have to do this with your money, or blah, 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 give her that opportunity. You can call it a mistake, but there is no mistakes in a conscious life.
It's only choices.
Only evolution.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the lack. You don't have to evolve, right?
You don't have to, but that's what consciousness is
Yeah,
evolution. Consciousness is always evolving.